So I'm here representing Codefest 2014 and everyone who attended. So I'll start off by telling you what is Codefest. So it's a 2-day community coding session. This is the 5th time we've had it. It was the first time we had it was when it was in Boston here. And since I live here, I was like, oh, we could organize a coding thing. And people actually showed up and seemed to like it. So we've done it 5 times in a row, which is awesome. This year we had the most people we've ever had. It was about 60 people signed up, which is awesome. We were at a great space in Kendall Square called Hack Reduce, and I can't say more good things about that. If you have to organize anything around here, they're definitely a great place to go. They gave us space for free. It's a great space. The wireless is way better than here, and they got power. Yeah, it's a lot better than here, and it's great. And we were lucky enough to be sponsored by Curiverse, Harbinger Partners, and Amazon. So we had food and Amazon credits, and it was a really good time. And so what I'd like to do is just sort of give you a flavor of the stuff at the Codefest. It's 60 people. We self-organize into groups and work on different projects. So this is kind of just a smattering of different projects that people worked on. Everyone made slides, so I'll just kind of go through them and give you a brief overview. And these slides will all be available so you can check out all the details. Some people are very detailed, and I'm not going to read slides up here. So I'll just kind of give you a high-level overview. So I know Roman headed this up, which was doing neuro-Debian stuff. He's doing neuroinformatics now and wanted to roll that into the work we're doing on Cloud Bio Linux. So did a bunch of work doing that. The Atom team was there. Frank talked about Atom yesterday, and there was a whole crew of Atom people in town, which was awesome. And they did a bunch of work on RNA-seq support, which I think Frank talked about yesterday, and also closed a bunch of open pull requests and worked on other stuff with people, so it was great to have them there. Arvados that's the product from Curiverse who sponsored us, and so they were there obviously and helping people get going on their open source platform called Arvados, and they did a ton of actually helping people get going and benchmarking and fixing bugs, and they have a cool logo. So I don't know if Jonathan's here, but he has stickers. If you like that logo, you can get them on your laptop. Galaxy folks were there, John and Dan, I think we're heading them up, and they did a bunch of work on getting citations into Galaxy, so you can put your citations into the XML, and then you could run a workflow and then get a whole list of citations for what you did, so you can actually reference the tools that you're using in an easy way, so that's a really nice addition. And one thing I'd like to highlight is it was great. We had a few different companies and groups there, and there was a great discussion between Galaxy, the Arvados folks, and 7 Bridges Genomics about how we can stop redoing the same thing over and over again. There's a lot of people doing workflowy stuff and tool definitions, and it's a lot of the same stuff. So they had a great discussion about, how could we have shared tool definitions so you can define things once in one way and run them on multiple platforms, and hopefully that would be a way to get workflows overlapping. And there's already existing collaborations like iPlant and Galaxy that are ongoing. So hopefully this will tie into that and make the world a better place, which is the goal of Codefest. And BioPython was there as well. Bo and Eric and Peter did a bunch of work on lots of bug stuff, fixing, and thinking about trying to split up BioPython into parts. That's one thing Peter talked about yesterday with BioRuby, which has been really successful. So the packaging in Python isn't as nice, so it's a little more of a challenge, but it's definitely a goal trying to work on. BioJava folks were there as well, and they worked a lot on structural alignment and representation and protein-protein interactions. These are the BioRuby folks. Peter and Raul were there, and I know they played with the Geeks packaging system, which we had a presentation about from Free Software Foundation, and trying to see if we could use that as sort of an automated packaging tool for Ruby. Thomas talked yesterday about biodalliance, and he was there fielding questions and having people give ideas for visualizations and implementing visualizations in real time, which was pretty sweet. So, Nathan had suggested a comparative genomics thing, and it was done. Thomas put it in. I know he also worked with Sasha on PGP data visualization, and BioCamel was there, so we got all the bios. I don't know if that might be the last bio. We have a lot of bios though, but it's good. And they worked on asynchronous parallel stuff, which is awesome, and I need to look at this because doing things asynchronously over multiple machines is a problem. And so I'd like to work on that. And Lorena, Roy, and Guillermo worked on BC Bio NextGen work. A lot of work on integrating some new tools for QC and trying to have automated deployment and testing with Travis CI, because I'll talk about BCI later. It's got a lot of tools, and so it's a little tricky to do on Travis CI from scratch. And Lorena says we need a logo, so there's no logo. I'm not very good at logos. One thing that was really cool, I thought, is Will showed up from Boss Lab. That's a hackerspace in Somerville, a biological hackerspace. They're down in, if you're from the area, down in Davis Square, which is cool. And so, he just came out to hang out with everyone and work on things, and did a bunch of work. He did work with BioPython and also some visualization stuff. And that was one of the things I thought was really great this year, is we're good at having a diversity of attendees. I mean, we're traditionally, I guess, like an academic and government sort of group, but I've really seen a big uptick in more industry, pharma people, which is awesome. I mean, because there's really no reason. The stuff that we're doing is a baseline for actually doing science, and that should be shared amongst everyone. And this research institutes, Broad was there, and also Boston local people came, which I think is great, trying to engage the broader community. So I was really happy with that. One area where I'd like to improve is I think as a continuous area for improvement, is improving diversity. I mean, one thing we noticed is we didn't have a good gender balance, right? There was a lot of guys and not very many women, and more generally just any underrepresented groups. So what I like to say is we welcome suggestions on being more inclusive. I feel like as a community, we're pretty more balanced and try to be cool, but I know we can always be better, and I'd like to know how it can be better and foster a community at these Codefests. So if you have thoughts on that, why you wouldn't want to go to Codefest, or you feel like it's exclusive in some way, definitely please come talk to me or send me an email, and we can think about ways to be better at that. That's one of my talking points, to be better for the future. And so, speaking of the future, there are more of these, so you are welcome, everyone, if you'd like to go to more Codefests. There's the EU Codefest is happening in September. It's right before Genome Informatics. So if you're near UK, or we'll be going to Genome Informatics, that's 2 days of hacking, and will be great. And there's also the Mozilla Science Labs Global Hackathon, which is happening 2 weeks from now. It's like a Tuesday, Thursday. This is, like I said, a global hackathon, so there's actually local spaces all over sort of co-organizing. If you go to that website, there's a link to a big, huge document with different projects and things they're working on, and you can also work remotely, obviously, because it's going to be global. So that's another chance to work with a bunch of people. Yeah, that's my summary for Codefest. It was great this year, and I really appreciate everyone coming. It's my favorite part of BOSC, and if people didn't show up, it would be very depressing. So thank you all for coming, and congratulations on all the work.
Later in November this year, there's going to be something called OpenCon 2014, led by the Right to Research Coalition. If you hadn't heard of it, Google it. It's going to be really cool. It's a first-of-a-kind event, 3 days long, all about open access, open data, and open educational resources. It's an early career researcher and graduate student-only conference, limited attendance, but it'll be really well-supported funding-wise, really diverse attendance, probably from like 30, 40 different countries, attendees. Tell your grad students and your early career researchers if they're interested in open science, come to this event. It's going to be amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, say the name again one more time.
OpenCon 2014, Right to Research Coalition.
OpenCon, like Comic-Con, but not.
Okay, thank you very much. Hand over to Nomi for the next.